Hello, I'm Jason from StrataGames, and today we're playing some more Pauper. This is 4-color Energy. Now, when Modern Horizons 3 came out, Energy seemed like the thing to do. In my opinion, obviously Refurbished Familiar was busted. We all knew it was going to be. Energy seemed like the thing I wanted to actually make happen, and I think I have an okay deck with it now. I'm not sure. It's really tough, and I fit 4 colors into it, so it's pretty hilarious. So how on earth are we playing 4 colors in Pauper with no amazing duels, fetches, or anything like that? Well, Attune with Aether searches for a basic land, puts it into your hand, also gets you some energy. So if we have a green and we have an Attune with Aether, then we can search up any of our other colors. We're base green-blue, so we have a lot more forests and islands, and then we have 1 mountain and 1 plains to be able to fetch with the Attune with Aether. But we are also playing 4 Lorien Revealed and 3 Generous Ent to search for forests and islands, because those are our main colors. And then we have at least 1 of every dual land in these colors, except for white-red, since we don't have any white-red cyclers. So why are we playing 4 colors? We get Tune the Narrative, which is a simple cantrip that gives you energy to use later on something else. And I'm not 100% sure it's going to be great, but I'm trying out Aether Spike. Yeah, it's kind of a soft counter spell that uses our energy, but we're trying to get a lot of energy. Hopefully it'll be as good as a counterspell most of the time, but a little bit easier to play, seeing as we have 4 colors. I think putting actual counterspell into this deck would be pretty challenging. And the second reason we're blue is Jolted Awake. This is also obviously why we're white. This can reanimate a creature, which is kind of our main game plan, but I think the best creatures to reanimate are in blue. So we are a terror deck. Surprise, surprise, I've found that this is kind of just one of the best creatures that you can have in a deck. We have so many 1 and 2 drop spells that are going to be going to our graveyard and putting other cards in our graveyard that the terror can be pretty cheap pretty easily. And then once it's dead, if we can just buy it back with a Jolted Awake, that's perfectly fine. We're going to be able to get up to 7 energy, not too difficultly. I think it will be okay. We also have 2 Mirror Shell Crabs, which act as counter magic and also reanimate threats for the late game. And then we have 4 Philology Archaeologist. This is an Augur of Bolas that you play if you want to mill cards rather than just put them on the bottom of your deck. And we definitely do, since we are a terror/reanimate deck. Other white cards, we have 1 Late to Dinner as a way to reanimate even if we don't have any energy and give us a little bit of a life boost. Union of the Third Path also gives us life and just cycles itself. Also in white, Thraben Charm is just kind of a catch-all. It's another couple pieces of removal, hits enchantments, blows up graveyards, just does a little bit of everything, slices and dices. I'm kind of all over the place here, but Malevolent Rumble is another green card. It mills us for 4, ideally filling our graveyard so that our terrors can cost less. It fills our graveyard so we can Jolted Awake things, and it will hopefully find us our terrors and also our lands, because in a 4-color deck, I don't think you can really have enough good fixing. And then red is here for removal. So we have 4 Galvanic Discharge and 2 Breath Weapon. Again, we're slow deck, susceptible to a lot of creatures, so we want to have a lot of removal. Is this deck absolutely insane? Yes, but energy is too cool to not try to do something with, okay? And then our sideboard, so we have 4 Red Blast and 3 Blue Elemental Blast. Effects for Affinity, we have 3 Gorilla Shamans and 2 Ancient Grudges. I opted for these over Cast Into the Fires because we do mill a fair amount in this deck with the Archaeologists and the Rumbles, so I thought that getting the extra value of milling an Ancient Grudge could be a little bit better. It's possible I'll regret it and just want the Exile instead, but for now this is what it is. I have an extra Breath Weapon in here because I am pretty scared of those go wide decks, especially red. And then I really wasn't sure what to sideboard against Broodscale, and man, I hate Broodscale. So we have a couple standard bearers because I've heard that that's kind of the thing to do if you're not Krark Clan Shamaning, and we cannot fit Krark Clan Shaman in this build. I tried. So that's the deck, and let's get right into the dumpster fire. All right, this hand looks decent. We have 3 of our colors. Attune can find our red. We have a 2-drop. We have a terror, so we're going to keep this one for sure. Opponent mulligans to 5, looks like Grixis Affinity. Play our Grove and pass. They have a Refurbished Familiar. I'm going to pick up another land with this Attune with Aether, so I think I'll just get rid of an island. Jolted Awake. Play our Archaeologist here. Mill and pick up a... do an Aether Spike or just a Lorien Revealed? Yeah, we'll go with the Aether Spike. It obviously loses some power seeing as they know that we'll have it, but ideally we'll get enough energy with the Attune with Aether that we'll be able to counter something and they'll have to play into it. Thoughtcast for them. They're going to swing for 2 and past us. We get a Tangled Islet. Attune with Aether for our red source. Play that and pass with Aether Spike up. Obviously they know about it, but Thoughtcast, well, that's a tough one to counter. I could, but don't really like to counter the draw. Not when they have a bunch of other cards in hand. We'll let them do it and we'll take 2. And they're going to pass. Going to play our Islet and I think just pass back to them. We only have 2 spells for this terror, so I might need a Breath Weapon to get rid of the Familiar, but that plays into a Deadly Dispute, so I I don't love that. They're gonna swing for 2. We're gonna take it. They're gonna cast a Mirror Enforcer. Yeah, I guess I have to let that resolve. I can counter unless they pay 4, but they have 4. Cycle this Lorien for an island. I could cycle Jolted Awake. That would make it so I could play Terror for 3, hold up Aether Spike. Kind of like having a Jolted Awake, of course. We'll just let it go, I suppose. Another Terror. Play a Terror for 4. At least holds off the Mirror Enforcer. But maybe I just play the Breath Weapon and hold up Aether Spike again. Chump the Mirror Enforcer with this Archaeologist, and then next turn I can play 1 or maybe 2 Terrors. Try to take out the Familiar. They're gonna pass. Okay, let me play a Terror and pass back, I guess. Getting the Terrors down is pretty good. They're gonna swing. We're definitely gonna block. We'll trade this for this guy and a Galvanic. Probably maybe a Makeshift Munitions they'll throw at it. There's the Galvanic, and they have the extra 4 for the Aether Spike, so that's fine. We'll let it go. We get a Generous Ent. We're gonna just play another Terror. Hold up our Aether Spike. Honestly, just showing them this Aether Spike existed has held them off so much that it's already done plenty of work, I think. There's the Makeshift Munitions, so I can't Aether Spike it, which is unfortunate. We're gonna have to let it go. Down to 2 cards in hand, though, for them. Draw Spell Pierce. Let's attack for 5. Don't really want to cast a Generous Ent, seeing as we tap out of our Aether Spike, and now we have Aether Spike plus Spell Pierce and or Mirror Shell Crab. We can do all 3 if we need. They're going to Reckoner's Bargain. That's fine. Play a land, and they're going to pass. Get an Archaeologist. That's not bad. Let's play that. Mill, Attune the Narrative, and a Galvanic Discharge. I kind of like Tune, because it really juices up our Aether Spike. Discharge is good, though, and we don't have any other real removal. Yeah, I guess we just take the Discharge. For if they do get a creature, we can get it out of the way. I mean, we're only a couple turns from Terror finishing off the job here. They have a Cast Down for the Terror, so we Aether Spike, and then we Spell Pierce it? Sure. This will get it countered, plus it'll keep our guy. It makes them tap a bunch of mana, and we get to keep 1 energy around, which can be useful for one of our cards here. Pass to us. Tune the Narrative is pretty good. I could just slam a Generous Ent. Actually, that might be better. If I put down Generous Ent, I don't have any counterplay, so if they just have like 2 cast downs, we're kind of cooked. But what are the chances they have 2 cast downs? And our Mirror Shell Crab holding that up doesn't really do that much with so much mana. So yeah, we're just gonna go for the Generous Ent here, I think. And pass. That means 2 lethal attackers. We have a removal spell to try to get through if they play down a couple creatures. They Galvanic Blast us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, I guess that means if they have 1 more untapped artifact land or another Galvanic Blast, we die. Probably should have thought about that. Ichor Wellspring for 2 mana. If they find a Galvanic, they could still get us, but they pretty much need that. Mirror Enforcer and a Blood Fountain. Blood Fountain can grab back a bird and another Enforcer, and they can play them both. That's 3 blockers, so I will need another removal spell or something to get through. I guess I'll discard this Mirror Shell Crab. Doesn't seem like it's going to do that much here. I can Rumble. Can Rumble find me anything that removes a blocker? Probably not. Let's just tune the narrative. Breath Weapon. Oh, only 1 red. Only 1 red. Malevolent Rumble can't find another untapped red source because we don't have another untapped red source. So I can't kill 2 creatures here. So I'm going to have to discharge, take out 1, force 2 chumps, and then I can food token to gain 3 life, try to survive. We're going to discharge this familiar. Maybe I should have done that to an Enforcer. I guess it doesn't really matter. It's going to die either way. I thought they might sack it, but it looks like they want to probably sack the Wellspring or something. So this way I get 2 of my energy. I get to attack with both of these guys. They have to double chump. Here they're going to sack. Throw it at us. And they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So again, I'm going to be dead to a Galvanic, but I can at least sack a food, and I can Jolted Awake a Generous Ent. So this puts me out of lethal right now, and I can get back Generous Ent. Can't quite crack the second food, and I'll pass. See what happens. They're going to sack the Wellspring to draw a card. Deadly Dispute the Blood Token to draw 2. Hey, and we got there. They did not find the Galvanics or anything they needed. Got their game 1. Let's see what our sideboard gives us. Gorilla Shamans, Ancient Grudges. Breath Weapons don't seem very good. We do have blasts. They're going to bring in, I mean, they already have spell bombs probably. Because we have terror, they might bring in red blasts. So maybe we bring in a couple blue blasts to counter their reds or their cart clans. These also get rid of a makeshift, which is always a problem. Do have 2 Thraben Charms to get rid of makeshift, actually, to get rid of their graveyard. I kind of think I want to get rid of the late to dinner just because they have spell bombs. I don't need the life that badly. and Jolted Awake I can at least cycle, whereas Late to Dinner could get stuck in my hand. I don't know if we need all of these counter spells, the Mirror Shells and the Aether Spikes. Probably don't need the Union as much here. Sure, we'll cut one Aether Spike. We have a lot of colors of mana. Archaeologist, Thraben Charm could be okay. It's not amazing, but I think we'll keep it. I just like our mana. Decent, you know, a 2-drop is nice, but Jolted Awake's not great until we hit a little bit more stuff. We'll get down our blue-green. I want blue for this, and next turn this. We'll get down white next. They just got a couple lands and pass. We got an island. Actually, we could just play our Archaeologist now. So we'll do that. Get a Galvanic and a Thraben Charm. We'll take the Galvanic since we already have a Thraben Charm. Great Furnace and pass from them. Okay. We got a Gorilla Shaman, so we're going to play down the Tributary and see if we can get that Shaman down next turn. They're going to Deadly Dispute it, so no worries. I don't need to destroy their artifacts if they're going to do it for us. There's a Seat and a Thoughtcast. Gearseeker Serpent. Okay, that's going to be challenging to kill. I think I'm just going to cycle this Jolted Awake, because it's not doing enough for us right now. I need one more creature and I can kill this. But I think we're going to play the Gorilla Shaman and take out the Seat of the Synod. Play Radiant Grove, pass the turn, hold up Blue Elemental Blast. If they try to kill this Gorilla Shaman, I'll probably save it. Yeah, because I think it's just going to be enough of a thorn in their side that I want to keep it around. They have a cast down for it, that's alright. I do need to get more creatures if I want this Thraben Charm to kill this, or more energy. Oh, another Gorilla Shaman off the top? I really like that. I kind of want to do that on the Great Furnace. Question is, do I need to just Lorien Revealed here? Because we're going to keep dying to this. I can probably chump this next turn though, but then our Thraben Charm gets worse. I guess we'll save the Gorilla Shaman because we want the Lorien Revealed, and this will, maybe we can get a little more value out of it. Play a Lorien. Got a Terror. Costs 3 right now. We're going to pass. We have to block this before we get down to like 5 because obviously they can make it unblockable. Yes, it's 6 mana and they don't have a way to do that right now, but we are going to want to block it at some point. However, I think this might actually not be the turn for it because I think we want to play Terror, Gorilla Shaman, and then shoot the Serpent. Go down to 10. Another Lorien, that's not bad. Terror costs 3, Gorilla Shaman costs 1, and Thraben Charm costs 2. So if I play all of these, I can't actually use the Gorilla Shaman. Unfortunately, I think I gotta take out that Serpent. So we're gonna just do it. And I want to do it at sorcery speed here so they can't kill a creature in response or sack that guy or anything like that. Maybe I don't get any value out of this Gorilla Shaman, but we really needed to take out that Serpent. It's bigger than our Serpent by a toughness, which is pretty relevant, so they Deadly Dispute their Great Furnace. Again, I'm happy with that. They have another Gearseeker. Okay, I don't see these a lot anymore, but it is being pretty annoying right now. They're going to play a Familiar. I'm just going to pitch this Tangled Islet. They're going to pass to us. Another Lorien Revealed. Well, nothing to destroy with the Gorilla Shaman. I guess we're just playing a Lorien. Another Galvanic's not bad. I think I'm going to shoot this Familiar, but I really want to get another way to make energy to shoot this for 6. But for now, yeah, we'll discharge this Familiar for just 1. Play a Beachfront. Because they've been sacking their own lands, and obviously we destroyed 1, they're really pinched on mana, so they need to hit an untapped land to be able to, like, cast down a Terror, which is pretty nice. I'm gonna swing with the Serpent. I could go for the double block here, but seeing as they have the mana to shoot this, or even just Galvanic Blast a Gorilla Shaman, so we're just gonna chump with the Archaeologist. They have an Ichor Wellspring to draw a card and pass to us. That's nice. We get to blow up the Seat. Ooh, Mirror Shell Crab's not bad. Start by blowing that up, see if they try to Deadly Dispute it. They have a bargain for it. I could counter this Reckoner's Bargain with the Mirror Shell, and then I have Galvanic and Archaeologist to play. Or I could just slam a Generous. I think I like countering here, actually. Keep them off cards, maybe keep them off lands. Then we'll play an Archaeologist. Get an Ancient Grudge. Sure, I'd prefer that in hand, I think. Don't really need the 1 damage off of this guy. And I kind of wanted to Galvanic this, but maybe I just Ancient Grudge it now. Leave up the discharge for the Serpent. If I had left up a green, I might have left the Ancient Grudge in the graveyard just so that I could use it right away. I'll just chump the Serpent. Again, don't want to get blown out. And once I finally get a Generous Ent down, I can just block this without any fear. They're going to Reckoner's Bargain the Wellspring, play a Bridge, and play a Blood Fountain. Let's them play another Enforcer. Yep, that's what I figured. I will blow up the Blood token on the end step here, though. I can take out both Enforcers with this Ancient Grudge, and then also shoot the Blood Fountain. With the Gorilla Shaman, that's 6 of my mana. Just need 1 more energy, and I can take out this Serpent. Kind of want to get this Generous Ent down, but 5, 6, 7, 8. I can't do that and blow up the Blood Fountain, and I'm definitely getting the Blood Fountain this turn. I'm so sure of it. We should just do that. that now. I guess I'll just Ancient Grudge both of these guys now too. Swing for 5. I still don't want to double block, but I think at this point I'm willing to chump with the Gorilla Shaman. I really don't want to let this through and then have them like double Galvanic us. So I'm gonna go for the chump here. Even though obviously this Gorilla Shaman is great and I want to keep them around. They have a Thoughtcast and another Serpent. Dude, where are all these Serpents coming from? And a Krark Clan Shaman, okay. Attune with Aether, that lets me discharge one of these guys. So let's attune for another red, discharge a Serpent, hit it for 6, play a Generous Ent, and if they just have a cast down for the Generous Ent, then they can get him with the Serpent. If their cards in hand are Galvanic and cast down, they cast this down, hit me for 6 and Galvanic and I die, I guess I'll pass. Without attacking for 5 feels bad, but really don't want to lose to those cards. Seed of the Synod, Reckoner's Bargain it, Ichor Wellspring, and Bargain the Wellspring. Okay, they drew a lot, but didn't do much else. Got another discharge, so we just need to find another way to make 2 energy, and we can discharge a Serpent. Lorien Revealed here. We got a Blue Elemental Blast. That's not bad, actually. So let's just attack with both of these. They're going to block with the Gear Seeker, so I can discharge the Seeker for 1. Blue Elemental the Krark Clan. I don't want to just play out 2 terrors because then they can wipe all of them and then we can play 1 terror because we didn't have enough blue/red, but that's okay. This still puts us in a pretty good spot. Well, they had a familiar, so we lose our other terror. Still in a fine spot as long as they don't have cast down. Draw something good. That's not it. We're attacking for 5. We're going to crack this food and pass. I was hoping for a Jolted Awake, a Lorien Revealed, something. They're going to swing for 6, down to 7. That's 2 Galvanic Blasts. There's a Blood Fountain. Oof. They're going to crack it for a Refurbished Familiar and a Gear Seeker. Play the Familiar. We'll discard a Forest. So close. Island's not going to cut it. We can't afford to attack for 5 because we will lose, so we got to pass. We're going to take 4. Down to 3, and they have a Serpent. Crack their blood, discard a bridge. And they found the Galvanic. I think we'll put this Aether Spike back in for like 1 land. See if that plays a little better. We also were wanting a Reanimate spell. Maybe that Late to Dinner should stay in after all for like what didn't do much. The Thraben Charm was tough. We didn't have enough creatures. It took us forever to get there. Maybe we don't need that spike. I don't know. Something like that. We have Gorilla Shaman. We're going to keep it. We do have a red off of this Lorien Revealed, so it's not as bad as it looks. Just mostly as bad as it looks. Opponent on a mull to 6. We'll play an islet and pass. We draw an island, and yet we're going to cycle this Lorien for a red source because we have 4 colors of mana and we got to hit them. They have a Seed of the Synod. Attune with Aether. Well, we're going to Gorilla Shaman, see if they have a counterspell for it. They don't. Let's take out the seat and just Radiant Grove here and pass. And they conceded. I guess they didn't have a 3rd land. Sometimes it's just that easy. We're on the play again here. We have Island, Generous Ent for Attune with Aether, and some decent early plays. So we're going to keep this one. I think I'll actually just play an Island and pass here. I can maybe tune the narrative at the end step, unless I really need to Generous Ent. Utopia Sprawl, so this could be Ponza or like just red-green. I guess it could be Bogles too. So this finds a tapped green. I think I'm going to want to find an untapped green with this Generous Ent because I want to use this tune right away in case they are Ponza. So I'm just going to tune the narrative here. Actually, that doesn't make sense. I could have cycled this and then gotten an untapped land and I could hold a counterspell. Oh well. Well, you live and you cry. Let's cycle Generous Ent for... Could do it for green, so I could attune with Aether. Or I could just green white. So I have my white mana for Jolted Awake here. Let's do that, actually. Because it's possible... I think I'm playing this all wrong, but this deck's tough already, okay? If we attune with Aether for white, we can Jolted Awake our Generous Ent. Doesn't let us leave up Aether Spike, but hey, turn 3 Generous Ent's not bad. What did they get? They pulled a Forest. Utopia Sprawl. I mean, we get a fast Jolted Awake. Breath Weapon's not amazing. So we get to attune with Aether. This does mean we have to attune with Aether for another white as opposed to for a red. So we don't have red up, but we get a 5/7 pretty early. Or I could get my mountain. I could just Jolt It Awake next turn, and this turn I could hold up Aether Spike. Ugh, that seems more responsible. Let's do that. I just wanted to Jolt It Awake, but I also don't want them to like play the initiative here. Obviously, if we get a 5/7, it's pretty good, but you know, they could play some scary stuff. That being one of them, let's Aether Spike that. Counter unless they pay 2, because they do have an Eldrazi here. Another Generous Ent. Well, we do get to just Philology and Jolted Awake now. So let's play it Philology. Bring up an Aether Spike, that's fine. We will Jolt Awake this Generous Ent. I would love to pay 6 energy. Play a Tangled Islet and pass. Hey, it's kind of working. Annoyed Altasaur looks like, yup. Into a Boarding Party, couldn't be better. Into a Wild Growth, okay, could be better, but still. Luckily we have the 5/7, so this can't even attack in. Pay no attention to the fireworks in the background. Cincinnati, they do fireworks every single Reds game. I don't follow baseball that much, but there are like 100 or some games, and they do fireworks after every single one of them. I can just hold up Aether Spike. I mean, our Generous Ent blocks really nicely, which is great. I don't have anything else to Jolt It Awake, and we don't really have the energy for it, so I might cycle that anyway. Okay, so we're just going to pass. Hopefully we can counterspell and get our Galvanic Discharges and start picking off guys, and they're going to play an Avenging Hunter. I could counter unless they pay 2, but they have 2. I can't do more than that with the Aether Spike. Unless I cycle this Jolted Awake and I get like Attune the Narrative. I don't think we're using this Jolted Awake for a while anyway, so sure. I could get a Thraben Charm, but I could get a Galvanic. There's no way I can hold up all the mana I need. We're just going to cycle this. We got a Lorien. Okay, that is fine. They have the initiative. Breath Weapon's looking pretty rough. Can't even kill a Boarding Party. They have another Wild Growth. That's irrelevant. They have a Malevolent Rumble. I mean, that draws a card. I guess we'll counter that unless they pay 1. Do I want to cycle one of these? The initiative is what scares me. So I kind of need DeLorean to start trying to find stuff. If I cycle DeLorean, I can play a Generous Ent this next turn. But I think we need the card draw. Late to Dinner's not bad. I also think I'm going to swing with this Ent and try to trade it and Breath Weapon for 2 of these guys. Yeah, so right now I can kill just 1, but if I Breath Weapon, then I'll deal 3 to the Altasaur and then 1 to this, so yeah. But then I don't have an attacker for next turn, so I could just trade and Late to Dinner the Generous End, but then this Breath Weapon's not getting any better. I think we just got a Breath Weapon. Then I can kill them both. So it's a 2 for 2. I could cycle a Lorien and play a land. I do think I'm looking to need 6 lands, so we're going to get rid of the Generous Ent, seeing as this Late to Dinner already gets us one. Let's get a green, red, in case we get a couple Galvanics we want to play at the same time. We're not in a terrible spot. We just really need to take that initiative. And of course, them having a 7/6 creature means that our Generous Ent doesn't even get past it, so now I have to get a Galvanic Discharge and an extra 2 energy somewhere. And they have another Altasaur. Okay, well, we were okay until they introduced the initiative, and now we're just gonna lose, I think. Luckily, they got another Wild Growth off an Altasaur. They'll attack for 7 and a Repurposer. Jolted Awake. Hey, wish we got double white. Thought about that too. I guess we can't Jolted Awake anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I think we have to Late to Dinner one of these guys. We'll do that. We lose 5, and we're going to block the Altasaur, block the Repurposer. Crack a Food, go to 4. They have a Chrysalis. Island doesn't seem like it's going to do us too much good, but let's play a Lorien Revealed. 2 discharges. No, we're dead. All right, really was that initiative. If we didn't have to start throwing our creatures away, we would have been okay. We don't have a sideboard here, though. I think we just run it back. This doesn't look amazing. This, cycle Generous Ent. We can Rumble. Sure, we'll keep it. Play an Islet and pass. Have the Utopia Sprawl. Rumble. Cycle this Ent for green-white, I guess. Play that and pass. If we don't draw a land, we're going to play a Rumble to try to find it rather than an Archaeologist to try to find a spell. They're going to Rumble. They choose the Writhing Chrysalis. We did draw a land. That's not bad. Let's play an Archaeologist. Mill. Ooh, our choice of Lorien, Thraben, Rumble. Thraben's medium removal. I guess we'll take Lorien as either a land or card draw, play an Islet, and pass. We haven't seen any of our energy, which means our energy is going to be a lot worse when we do draw it. Wild Growth, into the Chrysalis, I'm assuming. Yup. Draw another Ridgeline. Play that. I could just Union here, gain 7. Well, gain 6, because I'm going to do it at instant speed, and I'm going to play this first. Or I could play another Archaeologist, but what good does that really do? It's less mana efficient. Play a Ridgeline and pass. I really need to get on the board, yeah, because of things like this, but our creatures don't get on the board very quickly. You meet in a tavern. That seems decent. It's going to either pump their team or draw them a few cards. Right before I have my red up for these as well. Yep, they're going for the +2/+2. Swing. I guess we're just gonna chump here. Let's Union to gain 6. There's a Spell Pierce. I mean, now that they have a bunch of spawn, it doesn't do much. I would have loved that early, though. Let's Rumble first. Just get a Forest here. Your Shell Crab doesn't do much. Play an Archaeologist. Tune with Aether. Pass. Hold up this Spell Pierce that's going to be so good. Generous Ant, can't do anything about it. Guess we'll block the 6 damage again. They're going to sack a Spawn to cycle a Generous Ant, sure. Hit for 3. Utopia Sprawl, I mean, I might as well Spell Pierce. It's not doing anything else. If they want to sack 2 Spawn for this, that's totally fine by me. Another Jolted Awake. I could Lorien, but we're pretty much dead if we do that because we're tapped out. Guess we'll Rumble first. Mill all our spells. Generous Ant. Take it. This deck is definitely doing a weird thing where it wants spells, but it also wants creatures. Sometimes it wants creatures in the grave, sometimes not. It also wants lands because it's 4 color. Look, the deck is perfect. I don't know why you're here insulting. Attune with Aether. Gonna grab another Plains, I guess. Jolt Awake. One of these Archaeologists. I could get up to a Generous Ant if I want to waste 2 Jolted Awakes on it. Actually, that at least blocks. I think I might do that, actually. We're going to Jolted Awake this Generous Ant. We can't get it with the first one, so it doesn't allow us to, but we can do another one to get it back. I mean, it's not great, but at least we have a blocker, and we're not, like, instantly dead, whereas we are if we just get back, like, a bunch of O3s. I mean, this blocks this profitably. This can only be a 5/6, so it can block that. So it can block anything. We have chump blockers for the other ones if they just go for an all-out attack. You're going to swing with both of these guys. Block the Chrysalis to force them to sack Spawn. Block the Generous Ant. They do sack both of them. We're going to sack ours as well. And we'll just crack the food since we have the mana floating. They can do the same if they want. They do. And they have another Generous Ant. Okay, well, we also have another Generous Ant and a Mirror Shell Crab. So I could cycle Lorien for a land and then play the Generous Ant. And next turn I could play Mirror Shell Crab. Then we don't have a Lorien. And I think 2 Generous Ants is going to hold them back decently because I can start double blocking. I guess if we double block and we'll chomp, we'll take 10. Well, I think that's the price we got to pay. Let's play a Generous Ant. It's an Ent off. And mine are better? Not really. Well, they got an Altasaur into a Generous Ant. Theirs are better, okay? I take it back, please. Well, now I kind of wish not getting that Mirror Shell Crab down here. I guess I still can, but I have to sack the Spawn for it. Okay, we're gonna do that. Play 5/7s. That's the meta right now. Meta's all 5/7s. Block the 2 we can kill, and another one. Go to 1. Pass to us. Worst case scenario, I can Jolted Awake a blocker, an O3. We only have 2 blue, so I'm going to just start with a Lorien revealed. Leave up our white. See if Lorien gets us anything. Aether Spike. You can also tune the narrative, which means we can get a 4-drop, but I don't think we have any 3 or 4 drops in here. I'm just going to Jolted Awake so that I don't die to get an Archaeologist. Yes, I would like to pay 2 energy. A Spell Pierce and a Thraben Charm. Spell Pierce seems irrelevant, so let's take the Charm. Can't attack, unfortunately. I can't even afford to double block any of their guys, so we'll have to single block everything, but, not dead until they get another boarding party. Repurposer. Okay. They are gonna swing. Ugh, I was hoping they'd forget that part. Let's block them all. Lose our O3. Tune the narrative. Discharge is not bad. That'll give us 5 energy. So I can Thraben Charm. They have the extra Spawn now. So I can't Thraben Charm the Chrysalis without them making it bigger. Can't Thraben Charm an Ent. I could Breath Weapon. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I could Breath Weapon plus Thraben Charm. Okay, we're not dead. Not yet, anyway. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're going to try to kill everything here. So I can Breath Weapon, which is going to make all of these 5/7s trade. And I can Breath Weapon plus Thraben Charm to shoot the Chrysalis. And I can Food to survive the Repurposer. Block like that. We're going to Breath Weapon. This also kills the Spawn, but they're going to sack it here. Might as well just respond by Thrabening the Chrysalis. 6 damage to it. 2 damage to everything. And then crack a Food. And I go to 4 and then back down to 1. And this is just pretty much horrible if they have another creature, but they don't. Okay. And I can discharge the Repurposer. Oh, and we get a Generous Ant, so I'm not dead yet. Sweet. I can also hold up Aether Spike for 4, so I can counter something. All right, we have a shot here. Not a very good one, but we're not dead yet. They're going to pass. We're going to crack a Food. Tune the narrative. Let's just start with that. Actually, probably should start with the Lorien, but that's okay. I still have enough mana to Lorien, so let's just do that. Draw 3. Island. Bunch of Aether Spikes, so I'm just going to pass. I don't want to attack and, be forced to use this discharge quite yet. I'd rather save it for something scarier. They got another Forest. They have a boarding party, so I can counter that if I want, into a Chrysalis, of course. I need to counter one of these, but I can just shoot the boarding party. Aether Spike, Chrysalis. Chrysalis is harder to kill, so let's Aether Spike that for 5. That's what we're gonna do. Got to do it before this resolves so that they can't sack spawn to make the payment. Ideally, they attack here, and I can shoot one. Okay, they don't. We're just gonna let it go then. Another Lorien revealed. Well, we're just gonna play that. Keep drawing 3. We're getting low on cards, I will say. And yet, we're going to mill with this Archaeologist. Bring back a Galvanic Discharge. Sure. You know what? I think I want to attack, and, well, we'll let them block if they want to block. But I have discharges for 2 of these guys, so we're also at 7 cards in deck, and I think we've gone through most of our, all 3 Jolted Awakes. Yeah, I think we still have our late today, so we could still reanimate something. They're going to swing. Let's discharge for 3 and discharge for 3. There's our late to dinner. All right, we're attacking for 5. What's the best thing to get back? Terror? No, we don't even need the ward, so let's just do an Ent, because they don't really have removal, it doesn't look like. Let's just get double food, pass. They got a mountain, pass to us. We're gonna crack some food on the end step. Terror is a great draw. Let's attack with 2 5/7s. We'll play a Tolarian Terror, pass. Hey, we're doing it, maybe? I mean, they have a turn to chump, and then they drew a forest? No, they have a rumble. Well, we're gonna have to let them get that, unfortunately. Although all they get is wild growth or forest, so that's pretty good. They choose a wild growth. They're gonna play it. Another terror. Hey, I knew we had good cards left in our deck. Swing with the team. They're gonna chump 3 of them. Play another terror and pass. They have an Altasaur and do a Utopia Sprawl. I'd have to make them pay 7 for it, but I might as well Aether Spike it anyway. Get the energy for the discharge so that I can actually just shoot it. They're gonna pass. I mean, we have them dead anyway, I think, but we're just gonna shoot this Altasaur, swing with the team. That was a nice turnaround. Let's see if we can get the match, I guess. All right, we have a Spell Pierce, but it's on turn 2, and then an Archaeologist. I don't think this is gonna work. I think we have to mulligan that. This one's a little better, actually. And we're gonna get rid of a Tune the Narrative, I guess. Play a Radiant Grove and pass. Next turn, we're going to probably cycle the Lorien for an untapped island. Hopefully Spell Pierce something relevant. Cycle the Dent into a forest and Utopia Sprawl it. We just draw an island, actually. So let's play that and pass. I'll probably just cycle 1 or both of these on the end step, but don't need to do it yet, especially because I probably want to find red off of one of these. They have a Utopia Sprawl. We're going to try to Spell Pierce it. If they want to pay for it, that's fine, but they at least lose their turn here. We're going to cycle the Lorien so that I can maybe get to this terror a little faster. We are going to get our red, though, in case we need that. Play a Tune the Narrative. That's 3 spells. Play a Tributary and pass. So I can play a terror next turn. Not too bad. Kind of want to save this Lorien at this point. They cycle an Oliphant into a Repurposer. We draw a Mirror Shell Crab. Could still cycle this Lorien. We need lands still, so yeah, I'll cycle it. As much as I don't want to, but I'll do it now. We'll get another white, I guess. Pays back the mana for this terror. At least we have a 5/5 to stave off their attacks for now. Could have held up the Mirror Shell. Maybe that would have been better to stall a boarding party. And do a Rumble. Rumble finds an Altasaur, it looks like. Yep. Good block here, but I think this is better blocking here, trading with an Altasaur, and also hopefully we'll be able to block this with these guys. We get a Breath Weapon. We just got to pass here. Hold up Mirror Shell for counter. This deck might need some hard counters. I got a little greedy with all of the soft counters, but not doing quite what we want. Another boarding party instead of the Altasaur into a Rumble again. I guess we let them have the Rumble and we counter the boarding party. They take an Arbor Elf, counter this one. Unless they pay 3. I guess I was supposed to do that before they cast the Rumble. That was my mistake. I'm a silly goose. Usually I'm good about that, but I forgot this time. I guess we will block this time. Kind of wish they didn't have 2 boarding parties, you know what I mean? Tangled Islet does not get us this, so let's just Union, Tune with Aether. I mean, I'll play that. Doesn't do much here. Okay, we're going to lose this one, unfortunately. I did make that misplay with the Rumble, but I don't think it was going to make that big of a difference. We're running out of gas pretty quick here, and they have just a lot. There's the Avenging Hunter. I think we were dead either way. Yeah. We got 1 game off of them, though, and it was looking dire, so I'm not too upset about that. This looks a little awkward, because I think we're going to play the Spell Pierce turn 1. So island, and then we can't attune until later, but we have all our colors of mana. We have some ways to start getting some energy, so I don't think we're going to throw it back. Preordain. Snow-covered island too, so I'm thinking blue-red control, probably. Double bottom off the Preordain. Lorien revealed. We'll just play an island and pass. They're going to Preordain again, probably looking for that land. I'm going to Spell Pierce. Like, they double bottomed after a Multa 6. Preordain. I'm thinking they're looking for a land. They were looking for a land. I was able to counter it. They did not draw one. Pretty good for us. Tangled Islet and pass. I mean, that buys us a little bit of time. See if they have another cantrip here or draw the land. They have a ponder. They shuffle their library, but they do find the island. Okay. Lucky them. Another ponder, even if they are a turn behind on land. They shuffle again and then draw. We're going to cycle one Lorien for a white source. We get a forest. Let's just tune with Aether for another white source. Play the beachfront and pass. Maybe we need more Spell Pierce effects because we do really want to slow the game down. Ooh, they don't have anything. Land, cantrip, nothing. They could obviously have a counterspell though. We have a terror. We could play it, but we don't have counterspell backup. Then we could late to dinner it next turn. I mean, we're going to go for it. See if they have it. They don't. All right, we got a terror now. That's pretty good for us. Snow-covered plains. Okay. In that case, they're probably Tireless Tribe? Yeah, Squadron Hawk. Okay. Tireless Tribe is a totally different beast. That makes sense that they had just a million cantrips. Squadron Hawk, get 2 hawks, pass. Aether Spike's a good draw. We're going to play the mountain, so we have the discharge up, swing with the terror. I don't think I'm going to Lorien here. I guess I could. I kind of want to counter a Tireless Tribe on the way down, though, I think, because discharge isn't going to do much to it. And if they get it on the field, then they can madness their circular logics with it, so it's really hard to kill it after that. So I think we'll just hold up the Aether Spike. Swing with the Squadron Hawk. We'll take 1. I prefer to shoot a hawk that's blocking. They're going to play one. Pick up the last one, I'm assuming. They don't. They still choose not to do it. Okay, so they have it in hand. That makes a little more sense. Guess we'll just pass. Another terror. Plains. Attack for 5. Terror costs 4. They're going to chump. So, yeah, I'll just play a terror. I could have played the discharge first and then the Aether Spike, but I prefer to hold the discharge for a turn where they leave back a blocker and then take it out. And this way that maybe they attack with one guy and I get rid of 2 blockers essentially. And I have Aether Spike up either way. They're going to transmute a Dizzy spell. Finding that Tireless Tribe. If they play it, yeah, we're going to counter that. Unless they pay 1, we get to save an energy. Bank 1, which is nice. They just leave them back. Understandable. Oh, I could take out 2 now with the Thraben Charm, but if we had lethal, we would do that. Since we don't, I'm just going to swing with both. They are going to double chump. I'm going to Lorien Revealed. I guess just leaving out my red since that's all I have to cast. Nice. We draw an island and a Spell Pierce. That could be pretty good. Plus another discharge. There's the Squadron Hawk. Search for more. Fail to find. They're going to pass. Well, I'm going to try to discharge that hawk this time. Seeing as we have some extra removal and would rather they just don't block at all. Swing with 2 terrors. Pass to them. They're going to cast an Inside Out on our terror in order to draw a card. And then they can pay the ward, but then we'll Spell Pierce it. They concede though. We get to bring in Red Blasts, which is nice. Breath Weapon doesn't do much. It kills Hawks, but usually they're not playing the Hawks, and it doesn't really kill Tireless Tribe very well. Standard Bearer is an interesting one. I guess Standard Bearer does prevent them from casting Inside Out and Shadow on it, so I guess we'll bring those in. We get to take out Crabs are expensive, Late to Dinner's expensive, Union's expensive. Union's not bad, actually. Life gain. If we gain like 6 life, that's an extra card they have to pitch. It's not terrible. It's not nothing. Spell Pierce seems okay because they are low on mana. Thraben Charm's removal. It's not great removal, though. I have to have 3 creatures to be able to get past 1 discard. Yeah, I don't like Thraben Charm very much. We didn't need to cut that many cards, though, so maybe we'll keep 1 Thraben Charm. No, we'll keep in 1 Mirror Shell. All right, we have a Discharge, Archaeologist, Rumble, and a Terror. We'll keep it. If we can get down a quick terror with all this milling, maybe we can get them pretty quick like last time. They mulled a 6 again, but they have the turn 1 Tireless Tribe. Let's see if we lose on turn 2. I guess they would need an extra card. I don't think they could unless they have like a whiteout. If they have a whiteout, maybe they can get there. All we could do is attune the narrative this turn, so we are just going to play this Ridgeline so that we have a Discharge at the very least. But hey, if they get us turn 2, good for them. But I hope it doesn't happen, obviously. No second land. Well, in that case, play an Archaeologist as a blocker. 3 lands are creatures, so don't pick anything up. But now we have a 1/4, which actually isn't terrible. It blocks and forces them to discard, if they were to attack, that is. Cycle and Ash Barrens, they get their island. And Preordain. I can tune the narrative and then discharge this guy, and they have to choose to discard before I choose how much energy to put into it. So I can make them discard 2 cards and then actually expend no energy at all, which seems pretty hot. I think we'll probably do that next turn. So for now, I think we're going to Rumble and then tune the narrative. We get a Generous Ent or a Mirror Shell Crab. We'll take the crab. We mill 2 spells, which means we're at 3 in the grave. 3, but we're going to put 4, 5. So yeah, we can start getting terrors down next turn. It's not bad. They're going to Ponder. They find an island. Another tribe. Okay. Interesting that they'd play it out as opposed to just using it as discard fodder. I'm going to tune the narrative just a little bit more to my liking. Aether Spike. Okay. I think we're going to leave up all our counter magic and then probably play an Aether Spike and a discharge, and next turn I can play like 2 terrors. I kind of like that. I don't see any reason to like shoot 1 and then terror. If they go for cantrips to try to refill their hand, like I could just counter this, but I don't really need to. I could. It gets a card out of their hand, but I'd rather wait until they try to go for an Inside Out or a Shadow Rift or whatever. Well, they're going to pass. I'm going to discharge one of these guys, and they just let it happen, so we're going to shoot it for 1. They do have 2, so that makes sense. Another Tune the Narrative. Problem is we don't have enough blue right now. A Tune the Narrative would put these terrors at 1 drops, but I think to be safe, we're going to play 1 terror and just keep holding up our counter magic for every turn. Oh, then again, they're going to Circular Logic. I could Aether Spike that, but if they have Inside Out and then Shadow Rift, we would die. So we'll just have to let it happen. Can't pay 5. I can't pay 5. I don't think this should be too hard of a match. I think we should be able to get it. We're just a little pinched on blue, but I think the way that we lose is by just rushing out our terrors and things, not leaving up our counter magic. We can lose pretty easily there, but if we just be patient, I think we shouldn't have too much trouble taking this match down. And on the end step, we get to tune the narrative anyway, so we're not like wasting this blue by any means. Get even more energy if we get a Jolted Awake, or I guess we also need a white source. Jolted Awake and a white source, we can start getting back terrors and things. Let's tune the narrative for an island. Not bad. We needed more islands. And another one. Okay, well, didn't say I needed that many. Let's play an Archaeologist. Get back an Aether Spike. Sure. I guess we might as well just start swinging with this 1/4. Could have probably been swinging with it for a couple turns, but we didn't have another blocker, so you know how it is. We do get to play our Terror now for just a mana and hold up Aether Spikes and also Mirror Shell. But Aether Spike is basically a hard counter now because we can counter unless they pay up to 8, which is pretty good. They're going to pass to us. We got that Jolted Awake. Still no white, but I don't really want to cycle it because as soon as we get a white source or a Lorien Revealed or a Generous Ent, which I know we've gone through a couple, but once we get one of those, we'll be fine. They have Prismatic Strands. Okay. Prevent blue sources of damage. I can counter that. I think it's fine though. Again, I think we just be patient. This delays, but it doesn't do anything more than that. And so if they delay us, but we're able to just stop their combo when they go for it, then doesn't matter too much if we wait a couple extra turns to get in for 6 damage or even lethal damage. We're gonna pass. We got a Spell Pierce. All right, I think it's time to cycle this Jolted Awake. We kept it for a good long 1 turn, but let's see if we can do anything else. We did get an Archaeologist. Let's play that. I'm still holding up Spell Pierce and Aether Spike, so I think it's okay to play the Archaeologist. We get a Rumble. That can maybe find us a white source and or Late to Dinner. It can't find us that. I mean, it can find it, but it can't actually put it back into our hand, so don't know what I was going for there. They're going to flash back the Prismatic Strands. They found an Escape Tunnel, so if all they were waiting for was unblockability, they have it. Yep, they have the Inside Out. We're going to, if they have double Circular Logic, I guess they could get us, but we're going to Aether Spike the Inside Out. They have a Dispel. I'm going to try Spell Piercing it now. And the good news is if they discard a Circular Logic to counter, then they still use it for what they want, but if they have to hardcast a Dispel or something, then they're losing their cards. So even if they get this Inside Out to resolve, currently they only have 3 cards. This would give them a 4th. They're going to have to use one of those to get rid of the Spell Pierce, and they're not going to have enough to actually kill us with the Tireless Tribe. We're going to play a Rumble, pick up a I guess we're going to take the Standard Bearer, even though we don't currently have white for it. But if we get it down, we're just in a good spot. Might as well just leave up Aether Spike and Mirror Shell Crab here. Swing for 6. This time I think we should hit. Pass the turn. I could have taken the Archaeologist instead of the Standard Bearer, but as soon as we hit white, this is going to just screw up their game plan. And we don't really need another Archaeologist grabbing us another Aether Spike or whatever. They're going to transmute a Dizzy spell. I could counter the transmute, which is pretty funny, with this Mirror Shell Crab because it can counter abilities. But I might as well just let them get a card and then cast it and then counter that, so that they waste more mana if I want to. And I honestly don't care about this preordain that much, so we'll just let them have it. They have a Plains, which they play. With whiteout, they could definitely still have a way to get enough cards. So I was less worried about them going for it that one turn because they were losing cards, but if they have a whiteout, they could still kill us for sure. I'm going to play Galvanic Discharge now. Well, let's just Rumble first, I guess. Didn't hit any permanents, all spells, fair enough. We do play a weird split. I'm going to Discharge now, so if they want to save it, they have to pump it on this turn. And I can get up to 9 energy here, so they actually have to discard 3 spells to be able to do it. And they do have the whiteout, so they're up to 1-5. Let's see if they want to discard any more. Discard a Prismatic. Up to 0-4. That makes it a 1-9. I can still get up to 9 energy, so they have to discard another. Oh, they did not. I don't think they realized quite how much energy we had. We're going to deal at 9. Pass the turn. I don't need that energy for anything else. We got the game. I mean, that was a combo deck. We were able to pretty easily disrupt their combo. Round 4 here, we have no lands. We're going to mulligan that. Here we have white and blue, and all white and blue cards. I guess we'll keep it. Obviously, we get screwed if we draw a bunch of green and red spells, but if, we have, as you've seen, tons of ways to get those different mana sources. So we have some counterplay. We have a tune to try to dig for stuff. We're going to discard a Jolted Awake. See what we're up against here. We have an island and a pass. Idyllic Beachfront. I mean, doesn't give us any more colors, but at least it's the 3rd land. We'll play it and pass. They're going to Brine Barrow Intruder. So mono blue Fae. Going to be a tough one. I think that's a tough deck in general to play against. Breath Weapon's a fine card in this matchup. Not going to do too much yet. We're going to play an island and pass. If they flash Spell Stutter, I think we just Aether Spike it. We got to keep these guys down for 1. Hope for no ninja. They hardcast enough One Mind, so that's not too bad for us. We do need to find a creature for this Thraben Charm to work. There's our creature. All right, let's play a Plains and Archaeologist. This can dig for like a Lorien Revealed, which could get us at least one of our other colors. We get a Discharge instead. Mill a Terror, not quite what we wanted. I might tune the narrative right now, actually, just so that it doesn't get Spell Stuttered, because that'd be pretty annoying. So yeah, let's do that. They have a Fairy Seer. I want them to play 2 more Fairy Seers, and then us to untap and draw a mountain. Fairy Miscreant, I mean, that's close. We're going to swing at the Brine Barrow. I mean, I have an 0-3, so I will block it. If they want a Mutagenic, that's fine. Yep, they did. Indeed. Come on, mountain. Another Archaeologist. Alternatively, I could just Jolted Awake the one in my grave. I'm only a couple energy from Jolting Awake a Terror. That's so much better. Let's just go with another Archaeologist. Try to dig for that Lorien. We got a Spell Pierce. I mean, they know about it, but it's something. And pass back to them. We will block the Brine Barrow. They have another Mutagenic Growth. Very well. You got it. And they have a ninja. Okay, this is where things get scary. Moon Circuit Hacker. They're going to draw a card. Man, I really just need a mountain. And for them to not have a counterspell, which I guess are 2 difficult things to ask for. There's a green source. I think we have to Jolted Awake to stop one of these Archaeologists now. So we're going to do that. Dig for nothing. Well, we got a 1-4. I guess that helps against the hacker. Islet and pass. Do have a Thraben Charm. If I feel comfortable enough trying to use it to take anything out, I can do that. They have a Miscreant. I know they have a Fairy Seer, 2 unknowns in hand, so I could Thraben Charm the Miscreant, but that doesn't do enough, I don't think. Especially if they have like a way to bounce this Archaeologist. There's the Fairy Seer. Ideally, when I get my red source, I can have Spell Pierce up to back up my Breath Weapon. That would be the goal. Why my Thraben Charm dim? Cast it? Is twice to cancel. Okay, now it's fine. I don't know what's going on. Generous Scent, that's a red source. So cycle that for our red-green. Play that. Just gotta hold out another turn. I'll pass. This Union can gain us 5, which is not bad. They're gonna snap the Archaeologist. Yeah, could try to Thraben Charm in response here to take out like a hacker or something, but I think we're just gonna let that happen. They actually give us an extra life here. Haha. Guess if they just have if they don't play anything here and they have a counter spell, then our Spell Pierce isn't actually going to help much in terms of keeping our Breath Weapon to resolve. But they discarded Brine Bearer, which means they have 2 spells that are gas. We're gonna Union to the third path. Try to gain 6. If this draws out a counterspell, that would be fantastic. They do have the counterspell. Love to see that. I don't need the life if I can just Breath Weapon away your board. So let's do that. And they know we have the Spell Pierce, but pretty happy with how that went. We'll play the Archaeologist. If they have a counterspell here, totally fine. They don't, we get a discharge. Whew, what a breath weapon. That was so good. This is why I have the breath weapons main deck. Opponents like this or like a Kuldotha, we're gonna just totally fold to if we don't just have a board wipe, but that was so good. So we get to bring in all our pyros. Speaking of breath weapon, we get 1 more. I think that's it for the side. What do we want to take out? I kind of like Mirror Shell Crab because it's able to counter a ninja ability, which just like sets them back in tempo, which is kind of cool. Plus it can't be countered very easily, or probably at all in their deck. Our 1-drops are very susceptible to spell stutters, but they're all so good. There's a reason we're playing them. Maybe we can take out like some Aether, but I'd rather just take out a land because we want the energy. Thraben Charms don't feel great if they have snaps and things like that, so we can get rid of those. We don't need to hit their graveyard or enchantments. I guess it can take out a Moon Circuit hacker, but whatever. Union was actually looking pretty good there. Like if we gained 6, that was basically a whole turn, so I don't hate keeping that in. Maybe we don't need the late to dinner just because it's expensive. I don't really want to tap 4 to use that. Spell Pierce is good, I think. Like they get out of the range of it pretty easily, but they use a lot of their mana like we saw there, so I think it's still decent. I guess we have all these red blasts now that maybe cutting a couple spikes isn't bad. We still have Mirror Shell, Aether, Spell Pierce, and now red blasts. We'll try it like that. Oof. I mean, we have a Tune with Aether and Lorien revealed, but obviously no real lands. This one's okay. No red mana, but really good red cards. We're gonna keep it, and we're gonna put back our island. Not our island, our forest, I think. Actually, I kind of want to tune turn 1 and then Aether Spike turn 2, so maybe I'll get rid of the Tangled Islet. Obviously, if we want to do 2 blue spells in 1 turn, this is worse, but I think that's what I want to do. Jolted Awake, not great. We're going to tune the narrative now so that we don't get spell stuttered. Swing with their Miscreant, no Ninja, and pass. Another tune the narrative, that's not bad. Really missing that land. Hope that we're able to hit it. Swing with the Miscreant. We're going to take 1, pass. I mean, I'm going to just cycle this Jolted Awake, and it uses our mana a little more efficiently than tuning the narrative. Oof. Remember when I said I might regret getting rid of that blue? Yeah, it's right now. In fact, I'm regretting getting rid of the land entirely. Probably should have been one of our red spells, but man, they're too good. And I'm so greedy. They're attacking with the Miscreant. Still just a 1/1, which I like to see. I'm going to tune here. If they want a spell stutter, fair enough. They didn't. Another Archaeologist. Well, we're going to play an Archaeologist to try to dig for a Lorien or something. They have the spell stutter now. Got more value on it than I wanted them to. This deck is already so greedy that I probably should try to keep my greed in check a little bit when playing it. So yeah, I don't think we're going to send back a 3rd land for a while after this. There's a forest. What an amazing card. We're going to cycle the Archaeologist. Not cycle, we're going to play the Archaeologist. Walk into a counterspell probably. Snap back their spell stutter. Sure. That's a counterspell essentially. Brutal. Play a forest and pass. They swing for 3. Down to 12 and pass to us. We have another Mirror Shell Crab. I guess we're going to pass. Hold up our counter spells, tune the narrative on the end step, pray for a red source. You know the drill. Take 3, tune that narrative. That's a start. Draw another red spell. I get it. I was too greedy. You don't have to punish me. You don't have to rub it in. I've already admitted to my sins, my transgressions. Take 3. I mean, that's a mountain. We'll see if we can get this to resolve, but we're gonna pass to their upkeep, I guess. And we're gonna Breath Weapon. And then we have the Aether Spike. They have a Hydroblast. We're gonna Aether Spike it. They have a Spell Stutter. I see how it is. And a Fairy Seer. They're tapped out. They might have a land drop. Attack for 3. They don't have a land drop? I'm gonna Breath Weapon them when they're tapped out. Okay, that's pretty cool. I'm gonna cycle this Generous Ent. Kind of want to play it, but let's not get greedy. For white source would be good in case I draw anything white, but I might just need to red source so that I have both of these up. Let's just do that. Play the Wooded Ridgeline and pass. We're on 3 life. Let's try to not be greedy anymore. They have an of 1 mind and nothing. Okay. Malevolent Rumble, that's a good draw. Let's play that. We can get a Terror. I think we just Terror so that we can try to win as fast as possible. Play a Terror. Okay, pass. Do we have a shot at getting this one? This is one that I bungled hard. I mean, that third land wouldn't have done that much because it was the same colors, but still pretty good. And they don't even have anything with all of their mana. Union, okay, there's the... I needed the white source, but things are turning out pretty well. I attack for 5. They're on a 4-turn clock, and I have a lot of interaction, so that's pretty cool. There's a Spell Stutter. Let's let it resolve and then try to discharge it. They have a Snap. Let's counter the Snap and discharge for 1. I have so much energy if I draw a Jolted Awake or anything. We still have a Mirror Shell Crab if they like play something big. Of One Mind is big. I think I'd prefer to just play a Mirror Shell Crab and try to go a little faster. Or like counter a Fairy here or something. Relic. I actually don't care about Relic. That's fine. Fairy Seer. I think I blast it and then I untap, play a Mirror Shell Crab, attack for 5, and then I have them dead next turn. So they have to start playing bounce spells and stuff. Oh, I was like, oh, I'll just let it resolve. It doesn't matter. I should have obviously countered it on the stack so they don't get the Scry 2. So that was a mistake because I'm a goof. Scry 1 at the top. There we go. Let's destroy that Fairy Seer, though. We need them to have no creatures to block or attack with. Attune with Aether. That's actually great. We can still play the Mirror Shell Crab, but this also finds our white source. Oh, crap. We've milled our white source. We only have 1 Plains and Mountain. So, fair enough. We're just going to get an island. We can still play the Mirror Shell Crab. We just can't play the Union next turn, which is a little annoying, but that's okay. Attack for 5. Then we'll play our Mirror Shell Crab and pass to them. And our opponent concedes. They don't even... I guess they don't have anything in hand. They don't even want to draw. They could draw another one, but these guys both have Ward, so even if they have snaps and things, it's going to actually cost some mana to bounce them back. Any that they don't bounce back, they're going to probably have to chump, so that was a greedy hand, and I regret keeping, but it ended up working out. Only a forest, non-green spells. That's a mulligan. This one looks alright. We have just a bunch of removal and counter spells, but not terrible. Hopefully we'll have a good match for it. Probably want to get rid of one of these lands. No, I'm kidding. I learned my lesson. We're getting rid of this Spell Pierce. The dreaded Kuldotha matchup. Implement a combustion. Let's see if we can survive this. In my testings of this deck, I will admit, I never expected we would be doing this well. 3-1 currently. I went 0-5 in my first league with this deck. I made like 15 to 20 card changes, and I think it's a lot better, but it was bad. They have a Tomb Raider, but that's all they have. Okay. That means I can tune the narrative and shoot this to hell, or I can just Aether Spike here. So anyway, yeah, I'm really happy that this deck's doing well, but the problem with the deck when it went 0-5, and I thought it would have some of the same issues, we're going to let that resolve, is that it is 4-color, very slow, tons of tap lands, tons of paying Amanda to search for lands, and then you just die. But, it's not being too bad. I could shoot this, but I could also just Breath Weapon it next turn. I kind of just want to Breath Weapon the whole lot of them. So I think I'm going to take 2 more. Being a little greedy, but I think it's for the best. When they Kuldotha right here. Okay, Blast Runner, that's pretty good too. I'll tune the narrative. Another discharge. Those are going to be good. We're definitely going to Breath Weapon. So we're going to have to wait on that green source. So we need our 3rd mana here. But we're going to pass. Oh, I was hoping that was a Kuldotha. They're second to implement. All right. We're not going to get greedier seeing as we have the discharges and some other stuff. We're just going to wipe the board here. Take the nice 3-for-1. And they have an Epicure. Totally fine. Not that bad. Another Rumble. Okay. We can start playing those Rumbles next turn. Suddenly we turned from an Izzet deck into a 4-color pile in our opponent's eyes. We do have Discharge and Aether Spike here, which is nice. Aether Spike, pretty much just a hard counter in this matchup, I think, which is kind of cool. Another Implement, I think that's fine. I mean, we'd obviously rather counter a Kuldotha or whatever. I want to kill this? I don't think so. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I guess maybe just to bank the energy for if we get like a Jolted Awake and like a big creature in the grave, but I think we're okay. We can start jumping it with like Rumbles if we want. Another island, okay. We're gonna play a Rumble, try to get something good, like a Terror. Well, we got 4 spells, so our Terror is gonna be real cheap, but that's not quite what we wanted. Play an island and pass. We'll try again next turn. That Union would have been real nice. Union to the 3rd path. They have a Lightning Bolt at us. We're just gonna take that, I think. We might discharge this Epicure now. Maybe I'm gonna regret not doing it last turn. Yeah, we'll just go for it. Shoot it for 1. Another Implement, okay. The all Implement draw. They're gonna pass. Jolted Awake. I have to use my white source for this Rumble, though, so I'm not going to be able to Jolted Awake like a Terror if we mill it here. I guess we're 1 off of Terror, but a Generous Ent, that'd be a good one to get. Tangled Islet. No Have we been bad? Why aren't we getting any creatures now? We haven't seen a creature all game. All right, we're gonna pass back to them. They're gonna Galvanic Blast us. That's 4 damage. Kind of think that's more damage than anything else is gonna be, unless they Goblin Grenade us. So I'm gonna counter that unless they pay 1. But they're a cheapskate. I know they're not gonna pay 1. Exiles a Simian Spirit Guide. Yeah, that just seems like the most damage that they can get. Even if they Kuldotha or something here, that's good for them. But we have some blockers. We have 1 removal spell, so I think this is a little better. They're in a Chain Lightning. We cannot pay double red, unfortunately. There's the Kuldotha and a Blast Runner. Shoot the Blast Runner here. I think I'm going to wait, kind of force them to use this, plus maybe I get a Breath Weapon here. Lorien revealed. We have a lot of life gain in this deck for a reason. We have Union of the Third Path. We have 3 Generous Scents. We have the Last Man Standing. No, Late to Dinner. Close enough. So I guess I have to Lorien here. I think we're going to die, though. There's our Terror. I can block, shoot this. I take 1, 2. They're out of cards, though, so they have to find 5 damage. Or I could just play Terror and block. They have to find 4 damage. That's not as hard. We just need a Generous Scent so desperately because we need to get that life gain. I think we're going to just Terror, try to disincentivize them. So we take an extra damage this way, but hopefully we can disincentivize them from attacking in the first place. If we're lucky, they're going to sack the Implement. I mean, probably not, because with 2 cards, they're going to know if they have us here or not. If they don't have us, maybe they don't attack. But they do attack with everything. We're going to double block this guy, and we're going to block this guy. And we might as well sack both these spawn to cycle a Jolted Awake since they're dying anyway. Take 2. They got a Chain Lightning and a Mountain. I guess that gives us a chance. Here's another Terror. We've already milled our Union, so I don't think we have any... Oh, I could Late to Dinner. I don't think we have any way to gain life here, so we're going to have to dodge something for a couple turns. I could maybe draw a counter spell. Well, we're going to start with a Archaeologist to mill. I guess he could mill. The best thing here is he mills a Generous Ent, and then we can Jolt It Awake and gain life off of it. He mills some other creatures, but no Generous Ents. I could Jolt It Awake a Mirror Shell Crab. That's not going to do anything. Tune the Narrative. Another Galvanic. Terror. Attack for 5. Yeah, we're going to have to dodge something here. Oh, I guess maybe we can... We're still dead to just about anything, but I can just Jolt It Awake this Mirror Shell Crab, and then we have lethal damage on them. If we don't die, maybe we can kill them, is the goal here. They draw Kuldotha, and they bin it with the blood, and they find the Lightning Bolts. Dude, we just needed a Generous Scent. I know we don't have the full 4, but we have 3 in the deck. That's what they're there for. See, life gain, life gain, life gain. I guess that's it. Okay, well, we're cutting these. Bring in the Breath Weapon. We bring in the Blue Blasts. We get to cut the Mirror Shell Crabs because they don't seem very good. That's equal. I do like bringing Gorilla Shamans. I kind of like the Aether Spikes, but Spell Pierces don't feel amazing. I already have the Blue Blasts, so I think I prefer Gorilla Shamans over them. Let's try it like that. We don't have any more life gain in the sideboard because we already have 5 cards that gain life in the main deck. But we do have the Blue Blasts, and we have some other stuff. So close. We have this Ridge Line, but then nothing else. Got a mulligan. White into green blue to rumble to try to find a red and Jolted Awakes along the way. Doesn't do anything. I don't think this is any good. But we have the Breath Weapon. Sure, why not? Let's put back a Jolted Awake. What could possibly go wrong? Well, they could Kuldotha their first play. Alright, we gotta grab green though, right? To play this Malevolent Rumble. Oh, but the Rumble's a turn off. Oh god, this is so rough. Island, that doesn't do anything. Okay, Tangled Islet, pass. Just another day playing 4 color with the worst mana base you ever did see. Voldaren Epicure, swing for 3, Mountain, off the top. Just like that. Bada bing, bada boom. Close. All right, we're gonna Malevolent Rumble. I guess I could, oh god. See, it's always tough to choose what to do, because if I Rumble and I hit 4 spells like I have before, I can play a Terror right away, which is insane. But more likely, I could hit like an Archaeologist, and then I could Jolt It Awake it. I guess I get to spawn off of this, so I only have to hit 3 spells to get this Terror down, but I have to save the blue is the thing. Yeah, we're gonna try this. Rumble, 3 spells. Nope, there's the Archaeologist, and I didn't find a red source, so we're taking one of these. I guess I can still just play it. I mean, it blocks better than these guys do, sure. Play an Archaeologist, mill again. This might make it so I can play Terror next turn. Hopefully find a Lorien, so I can cycle for a red. or maybe even in a tune with Aether. There's a Lorien. Can cycle that for a red following turn. Yep, we're slow. There's a reason this was my dreaded matchup. They have the Chain Lightning. I am shocked that they were able to kill a 0/3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spells. So once I cycle the Lorien, Terror will cost 1, and that's another Terror. Okay, that's good. So we can cycle Lorien for our red, play that, play a Terror. Hope it doesn't get red blasted. It did not. Play another Terror. Pass. That's pretty good. Assuming we don't just get burned out here. They didn't cast a burn spell at the end step, so I like that. They have a Great Furnace. They do have a Pyroblast now. At least they're using their whole turn to do it. Rather, they didn't attack here, but I'm sure they will. Yeah. We'll block 1. Take 3. We don't even have the energy to Jolt It Awake. Aether Spike's good. I mean, it's okay. I guess it only counters for 2. So I can attack for 5 and then Breath Weapon. But if they just have Burn, I kind of lose. I could not attack, which incentivizes them to Bushwhacker or something. Which I can Breath Weapon. I think I got to attack. I think we don't have enough time to dilly-dally. This is already going to take 4 turns, so I think I just have to go for it. I probably should have Jolted Awake a Archaeologist, though, if I'm honest. They have a Synth. I'm going to have to let that go. They have another Synth. We're going to let that go. Anything that doesn't deal us damage is fine right now. I know it draws cards, but there's an Epicure. They're going to be smart and play it second main phase? That's no fair. I think I have to Breath Weapon. I can't take 3 here. I'm already taking 1 off this guy. This Epicure, we're just kind of have to let that go. Down to 8, and they have a Galvanic Blast. Yep. Well, we're going to Jolt It Awake now. This Archaeologist. I could go for a Gorilla Shaman, I guess. Take away some of these. I mean, the blood tokens are redraws. Do I want to do that? Do I need to do that? No, I'd prefer to Archaeologist and hopefully find like a Union. Yeah, because I need to just not die to burn, so I need to find some life gain. Get the Archaeologist, attune with Aether, or I can have a 1/4. No, we'll take the attune. Find a red off of that. Attack for 5 and pass. So I have 1 counter spell and 1 removal spell. They're going to crack a Synth for a Blast Runner. I think I might have to counter the Blast Runner, or I could just shoot the Blast Runner. No, we'll just shoot it. Since this can block here, I think that's fine. All right. Discharge on the Blast Runner for 2. Keep the Lorien because we're greedy. That's a Generous Ant. Attack for 5. There's no way I'm hard casting this Lorien now, and we do want to get to this Generous Ant pretty badly, so I'm just going to cycle the Lorien now for, I guess, another white source. Since we don't need the untapped land, we'll play that and pass. Problem is if we have to tap out for the Generous Ant, that's a Lightning Bolt. If I don't counter this, then I just die to blocking, so I guess I have to counter it. Counter unless they pay 1. Well, if they whiff in the next, 3 draws, we can get down a Generous Ent and then gain life off of it. 3, I guess, 4 draws. They have Synth and they have Blood Tokens. That's a Pyroblast. I can kill the Archaeologist and get in for 3 here, which if they have any way to paying is enough. They have a Kuldotha, and they are going to take out the Archaeologist. Okay, we've used 1 Breath Weapon. I think we are Breath Weapon or bust here. If we get a Breath Weapon, we wipe their board, we hit for 5 and we win. But I can't imagine anything else that wins us the game here other than a board wipe. We have 2 Breath Weapons in the deck, so I think I cycle this Generous Ant. Realistically, to be able to gain the life off of it, I'm going to have to reanimate it anyway, but this technically thins our deck and gives us a better shot, so we're gonna do that. See if we can get a Breath Weapon. We have a 1 in 33 chance. No, 2 in 33 chance. We're going to get a Forest. All right, 2 in 33. So close. Almost a Breath Weapon. I think we're gonna attack and see if they accidentally don't block. Darn, they did not. I had the heart of the cards, and sometimes the cards don't have the heart of the U. And that's just how it goes. It was a close game, though, actually. If I got a Breath Weapon, I would have gotten there. Like I said, I definitely needed to start attacking that turn with Tolarian Terror. If they were still at 10, there's no way I could have won. But I did actually have an out. So that's all right. The deck actually worked a lot better than I thought it would. Like I said, my first testing of this deck looked a lot worse. It was a lot heavier on the energy theme. And I was trying to reanimate Striped Riverwinders because in my head, that's kind of the best card you can reanimate. But I realized in any other situation, it was not a very good card. Whereas Terror is just a card I can play for 1. And then if I can reanimate it later, is also a pretty good card to get back. So let me know what you think of this deck. I think it's pretty sweet. It worked pretty well. I'm gonna tinker with it for sure a little bit more. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.